The man standing before her was Norman, CEO of America's largest conglomerate, with a net worth in the hundreds of billions. Yet he had no idea that the carefully planned birthday surprise for his wife would become his own death sentence. His wife, Morgana, looked him in the eye and coldly announced she wanted a divorce. Heartbroken and resigned, Norman decided to drink one last toast only to fall right into her trap. Morgana remarked casually that being a widow was far more profitable than being a divorced woman. The next moment, the poison took effect. The billionaire CEO dropped dead on the spot, and his body was dumped into the sea. Meanwhile, a penniless young woman named Taylor had gotten into trouble for resisting the advances of a wealthy heir. The man, Harris, tried to force himself on her, relying on his family's power and privilege, but Taylor fought back, kicking him hard in the groin and leaving him writhing in pain. Just then, Taylor noticed another man lying unconscious nearby. Horrified, she thought she had accidentally killed him. But when the man woke up, he remembered nothing and began following Taylor like a lost puppy. Taylor was already drowning in debt and barely scraping by. Now, with an extra mouth to feed, her situation went from bad to worse. The amnesiac Norman stepped up confidently, declaring he would repay her $50 million debt. But when her aunt presented the IOU and asked him to sign, he couldn't even remember his own name. The ruse was over. They were immediately thrown out onto the streets, branded as frauds and left homeless. To survive, Taylor came up with a brilliant plan: food delivery. And so, the once powerful CEO found himself squeezed into an ill-fitting uniform, becoming a takeout delivery rider. Taylor gave him a new name, Nolan. At the same time, the venomous Morgana was already celebrating her victory at Kingsley Group. She proudly announced her husband's death by drowning and declared herself the new head of the company, even rebranding it as Crowley Group. But just as she was basking in her triumph, Norman's sister stormed into the room. She publicly declared that, under the law, Norman could not be pronounced dead until he had been missing for 3 months. Until then, all company assets would be frozen. Not only that, she dropped a bombshell, a $100 million reward for any information leading to her brother's whereabouts. The battle for a $100 billion empire had officially begun. And our true protagonist, Nolan, was now running around the city with Taylor, just trying to make ends meet. Though he had lost his memory, his sharp business instincts remained. Staring at his meager earnings, he began contemplating investing in stocks to grow what little they had. Then, in an intensely ironic twist of fate, Nolan caught sight of a poster of Morgana on the street. An unexplainable sense of familiarity washed over him, and he stood frozen, unable to look away. But the real coincidence came when Nolan received a delivery order to his own mansion. Inside, Morgana was directing the staff to erase every trace of Norman's existence. Nolan watched as his own portrait was taken off the wall. Fragments of information about Norman Kingsley pierced his mind like needles. Stumbling out of the villa in a daze, he looked up and saw the grand sign at the entrance, Kingsley Manor. And in that moment, he finally understood. The billionaire declared dead, the man with a $100 million bounty on his head, was him. The flames of revenge had just been ignited.